All right. So we are live on YouTube now as well. And we just got someone else clicking in. I think it's probably Mac, or maybe it's Ari. I don't know. It's a mystery.
It's Ari. I'm sorry I'm late.
Hi, Ari. That's okay. Welcome. You're just on
Thank
time.
you. Okay, perfect. What a day. Happy to be here.
Oh my God. So glad that you're here. So for those that are joining us on YouTube, hi, I'm Elliot. This is TG-ENBY project. To TG-ENBY patrons that are joining us via Zoom, thank you so much for your support. Y'all's support is what's making it possible to pay our other instructors that aren't me to teach. So we had Pooja started this past month. Pooja's going to join us again in September. And then starting in September as well, Monk is going to be joining us for a regular monthly class. That's going to be the second Saturday of every month at 2 p.m. So that's going to be starting on the 12th. And if my brain is remembering what the calendar looks like properly, that is the 12th. So super excited to get Monk back in here and get some more time with Pooja. So try those other classes out. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you want access to those classes, then you do have to be a patron for those links. That said, we are offering community slots for every single class. So if you want to participate via the Zoom and being a patron is not something that is possible for you, then just reach out via Instagram. That's tgenby.project, or email tgenby@gmail.com and we'll get you set up with the link. So today we're going to be working on some shoulder stuff and thoracic. So when we talk about thoracic, it's that we're thinking about that area, the mid back is our thoracic spine. And then the word thoracic itself, it refers to this chest area. And I decided to work on this stuff because I was noticing today in my morning, like perusing of the fitness world, I was seeing a lot of thoracic stuff being posted. And then as the world kind of happens to fall into place, everybody that I've worked with today, one-on-one's been complaining about a lot of tightness in their chest, not feeling able to engage their back, having difficulty sitting up straight. And this is all a really normal byproduct of us sitting at home working on our computers, us just sitting more in general because we're not out and about in the world in the way we normally are. And then add to that, like all the stress and anxiety that the world has for us collectively right now. And we start to get up in here and guarding ourselves. So I wanted to work on some things today that are going to help get us some twisting and some reaching to open up the chest, to get us some movement in the T-spine, and also get some work in the shoulders. Let's see, Max has a question. Max, is it okay if I vocalize this question, or do you want to keep it private? Open. Okay. So I have a body issue question that I'd love to ask anyone in the group who has had top surgery. Is this a space I can ask this? I'm having the sensation of mystery bruising behind my left nipple, parentheses for after class. Okay. So yeah, we can definitely, anyone who's, I just saw the for after class part and then the open part. So we can address that after class when we're off the live stream. So anyone who is in here who wants to share can share, and then I can kind of share my own personal stuff that anyway. I'll read ahead a little bit more next time. So if anyone that has access via Zoom wants to ask any questions, you can unmute yourself, you can ask out loud, or you can ask in the chat. So just want to reiterate that. Let's go ahead and get warmed up. I'll teach you our movements and then we will get into it. I'm really excited about today's material. I was working on it at the gym today out on the patio, and it was feeling really yummy for my body. So we're always going to start up at the top just because that's where I like to start. And starting with our tilts. Get a quick little time check here. Good, we're only about 5 after, so. And we want to come into that space of moving with our breath and initiate that practice right now at the beginning. So I'm exhaling as I'm tilting, thinking about the tops of my shoulders, pressing away from my ears. Gonna bring the head to neutral, and we're gonna look over each shoulder. And you can visualize that you're trying to touch your chin or the side of your face to the wall behind you if you're inside, to just an imaginary object behind you if you're outside. And then let's take these into head rolls. And just to observe any sensations that are coming up for you, anything that your body's communicating that might be tight, especially since we're working some of the shouldery stuff today. Let's go other way. And coming into our shoulders, let's shrug them up towards the ears, closing the shoulder gap, and then press them down. And shrug and press them down. Bring awareness to your abdominals. Brace them. So you want to think of your transversus abdominis, which is those deep abdominal muscles, and they cinch in. Okay, that's like the waist cincher of our abdominal muscles. So think about those cinching in and supporting your back, and then find your rectus abdominis. Those are your six-pack muscles here in the front, and brace them and squeeze them. So there's a cinching and then a locking down in the front. Take it into shoulder rolls. And see how long you can hold on to that sensation of bracing today throughout your practice. If it slips, then just reset it other way. I'll continue to cue it for you, so don't worry. It's totally normal to forget. Let's come into our hips and explore the hips, the hamstrings, the hip flexors. Just observe what feels tight. And as you're moving through this, patrons, if something comes up that feels really, really tight and you want to shout out and be like, hey, yo, can we work on loosening up my fill in the blank? Then feel free. Other way. That's the benefit of this format, is we have a little more contact with each other, and we can personalize things a little bit more. Let's go front to back swing. So find your balance on your left leg. Make sure that you're using your toes. And then we're just going to swing to the front and the back. And we're searching for that stretching sensation in the hamstring, the back of the thigh. And then as you kick your heel back towards your booty, we're seeking out that stretching sensation in the front of the thigh and our hip flexors. Bringing that tight belly, packing the shoulders. So we're going to come to lateral swings next. When I talk about packing the shoulders, I want you to think about your lats. So if you were to reach and touch underneath your armpit, a nice big muscle there are your lats. So bringing the shoulder blades back and down and squeezing your lats so that our shoulders are packed and stable. We're going to come front to back on the other leg. So find your stability on your right foot. And then same thing, seeking that stretching sensation back of the thigh and then front of the thigh. If you need to hold on to an object for balance, that's totally fine. Absolutely okay. This is your practice, so you get to make the rules and you get to do what feels good for you. Let's take it lateral swings. So, and I'll reiterate, just like I do every week, if any of the movements that we go over today don't feel like they're great for your body, or even just for your body today, we're going to come into foot rolls, then modify them however you want, or change them out for something completely different. This is totally fine other way. I'm going to try and show you a few different variations of each movement just to give you some ideas of how you can change some of this stuff up. And other side. So typically I do move this couch out of the way, but I just didn't feel like it today, so I didn't. But if you have furniture in the room you're practicing in, you can always use your furniture as an aid. I'll probably use the couch a little bit today to demonstrate some stuff. So we're going to take 60 seconds of jacks. Now these jacks can be jumping, a full jumping jack, or they could be a stepping jack if jumping doesn't feel good for you. And if your arms start to get really tired, or maybe you're just not feeling the arms all the way up today, you can break at the elbow when your elbows get to shoulder height, and you can jack in here instead of up here. So we're going to get 60 seconds, pick whichever variation feels fun for you today. We're going to start in 3, 2, and 1. So I'm going to start with a full jumping jack, and then I'll probably switch partway through just so folks have other options. When I'm working on my jacks, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see my feet here. I like to work off the balls of my feet when I'm jumping and stay nice and light so that my heels aren't actually touching the ground at any point. This allows me to use my foot to absorb some of the force of jumping. So I'm not sending as much impact up through my joints. Sorry about my dog, y'all. So I'm going to take it to doing this step variation for anyone who's doing a step variation. Just reaching laterally from the middle with alternating feet and tapping. And I'm still working off the ball of the foot here. And time, there's your 60 seconds. Since we are doing a lot in the shoulders today, let's come back into our shoulders for corkscrews. So tee off your arms with your palms facing up towards the sky. And you're gonna shrug one shoulder and then press it down, and shrug the other shoulder and press it down. So this is where that packing, that shoulder packing that I mentioned earlier comes in. You're packing the shoulder down, shrugging, and then pack it down. So let's turn it into the corkscrew now. You're gonna shrug, dump the shoulder forward, rotate at the elbow, and then rotate at the wrist, and bring your gaze to the opposite hand, and then bring it back from the shoulder, elbow, wrist. Other side, shrug, dump the shoulder, rotate at the elbow, rotate at the wrist, and reach in the opposite direction and back. And let's just move side to side using your breath. Those of you that have done these before are probably already in flowing with it a little bit. If it's new for you, then just take it nice and slow and feel it out. We're twisting and reaching and then using the muscles in our back to pull it back to neutral. I can come in a little bit closer so you can see here, shrug, dump, and then rotating, and then bringing it back. Shrug, dump, and rotating. There we go. Take one more on each side from wherever you are. By the time we're done with these, our shoulders should be nice and warm. Good, drop your arms. If you need to take a head roll or shoulder roll or anything that you need to loosen things up in the upper body, go for it. So I'm gonna teach you the movements. We're gonna do a set of each one, and then we're gonna put it all together. And let's see, we have 5 movements. So we'll go ahead and we'll do our 60-second circuit again this week. So we'll do each movement for 60 seconds. And then that way you can just work in your own pace and you don't have to worry about number of reps. Sorry about the dog. She's making sure that the perimeter is secure. All right, so our first movement is going to be a reverse lunge with a T rotation. So we can do this movement. You can start with your arms above your head. I like the shoulders packed when we do this. So we're gonna, instead of here, we're gonna press down and close the shoulder gap, that gap between the shoulder and the ear. And we're gonna step back into a reverse lunge, really strong in my back foot. And then once I land that lunge, I'm gonna tee off and rotate, looking back at this back hand, and then bring my arms up and then tee off in the other direction, Now I'm going to face this direction so that you can see what else is happening here, because I want to talk about what's happening in my front knee. So my arms are up, I'm stepping back, and I'm teeing off in the direction of the front hip, bringing it up. Now when I'm opening up in this direction, woo, see how things get a little wobbly? You want to use your glutes, so drive your knee out and up. And then we'll switch sides. Stepping back, tee it off, bring your arms up, and then twist and tee it off. So practice a few reps on each side. And if getting all the way down the way I am in this lunge doesn't feel great for you, you can stay high in this back leg and tee it off. Or maybe you have just a smaller bend, you're not all the way down here. Either one of those options are fine. So it's going to start to feel like a dance here. Tee it off, up, and tee it off. Does anybody have any questions about that movement? We're good? All right, I can always go back, so don't worry if you didn't catch me. Now, our next one is going to be beast taps. So I'll show you from the side and from the front, and then I'll show you a variation. For beast tap, we're coming down to the ground. You're in a quadruped position, or hands and knees, tuck your toes under. Now from here, you're going to pack the shoulders, brace your belly, and lift your knees an inch off the ground. We're going to work on staying as stable as we possibly can and picking one hand up and tapping the shoulder and setting it down, and then tapping the other shoulder. So you notice from the side, there's very little movement happening in my hips. Let me show you from the front. Picking the knees up an inch off the ground, brace, and tap, 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 tap. So variations here, you can leave the knees on the ground if that's too much pressure on your wrists. Maybe you're feeling enough here. You can lift the opposite side foot a little bit with your knee on the ground, or you can take it to your couch or a bench or a chair, and you can set up that beast position on the couch and you can tap here. So this is also an option. So go ahead and work on that for about 30 seconds. I'm going to come in so I can see some of y'all that have your video on. Set a timer for 30 seconds and then go ahead and practice that. Ooh, I'm seeing some nice and stable hips. I love it. And breathing. Breathing's so important here. You can keep your gaze down in that space that would be between your hands. Thinking about creating length in the back of your neck and your ears lining up with your shoulders. Give it 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. How's that feeling? Feeling cute, right? All right. Now, while I'm talking, if you need to take any kind of wrist relief, remember we've got a wrist relief position here, or rolls. Take good care of your wrists. We have our pike shrugs next. So there's a couple of ways that you can think about your legs when you're in a pike. You can start in a plank, and then you're going to lift your hips. Now, if you're staying straight in your legs, you're going to be feeling a little more in your hamstring. If you bend your knees a little and then drive through, we're getting a little more in the spine. So I'm liking being in my spine today. So today I'm going to practice with a slight bend to my knees. If you feel like you would benefit from a hamstring stretch, then go ahead and straighten your legs out and drive through your heels, and you'll notice a lot of tension in the hamstrings. So from our pike position, we're just going to close the shoulder gap, so squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears and then press them down. And then shrug and then slide them down with control. It's almost like you're pushing your shoulder blades down through mud. And if I were to do this with my back to you, it would be shrugging and pressing them down, and shrugging and pressing them down, and keep your belly tight. Just continue to practice that a little bit. Does everyone that's here in Zoom feel like they're connecting with this, or do you feel like you need a little extra instruction? We got thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, awesome. So we're gonna come back up to standing and we're gonna do a squat with a cross grab and reach. So your deep squat's gonna be different. Everyone's different. So just know that if it doesn't look like mine, that's okay. We're gonna set up a little bit wider than hips and slightly toed out. You're gonna reach your hips back and then opposite hand is gonna reach across and grab the outside of your shin, and you're gonna pull, and then you're gonna press with your knee. So we're kind of doing this to lock it in, and then we're gonna reach and look at your top hand. And then we'll release it and come up, and then you're gonna come back down and grab the other side, pull and push, and then reach. So we're using the pressure that we're creating here to really anchor that one side so we can get deeper in our T-spine reach. And if you are only coming to here, this is fine. Maybe you're grabbing the outside of your thigh instead of all the way down on your shin. This is okay too. You could even do this if you're working, maybe you're working down to a bench or a chair because squatting is holding that bottom of that squat's not available to you. You can also do that and then just stand up and squat down and grab and reach. So these are all viable options, or anything else that you think of that I haven't shown you is also a viable option. All right, how many more do we have left? We have one more. So last one is a body weight shoulder press. A lot of folks in here have done these before with me. This has been like my go-to shoulder exercise in quarantine because I don't have a ton of equipment at home, but this is something that you only need your body for. So we're setting up our pike again, and I'm still working through bent knees today, and I'm gonna go shoulders width apart and then really press into your pike. And we're gonna bend the elbows at about a 45-degree angle and lower the crown of your head down towards the ground. Let me turn this way so you can see the angle that's happening here, right in here. So options here, once again, you can always use your couch. Maybe you're really strong in your shoulders and you feel like this isn't giving you the challenge that you want. You can always elevate your feet and come into a pike. So now I'm in this variation of a handstand and I'm moving a lot more of my body weight in here. So this is an option if you need something a little heavier. If you need something not as heavy as on the ground, then we elevate the upper body and press into a pike. Now I'm staying high on my toes because the angle is what puts this in the shoulders versus in the chest. Because when we are pressing with our arms going this way, it's in the shoulders. This way, it's in the chest. How's everyone feeling about those? Everyone find a variation that they feel like is at their level, their conditioning level? All right. So we're gonna put all this together now. Take some water if you need it. I always need it because I'm always a thirsty human. You can put music on for yourself if you want. Just make sure you're on mute if you do. And we're gonna get started. So reverse lunge to that T rotation is our first exercise. I got 60 seconds on the clock. We're gonna start in 3, 2, and begin. So I'm starting arms above the head and reaching, whoop, and other way. I wrote the ding thing and I'm already messing it up. Up and pressing that knee out and up. I'm really staying focused on packing my shoulders in this evening's practice and keeping my lats engaged and keeping my abdominals engaged. So Maybe you're focusing more on your abdominals today. That's fine too. Whatever you feel like is beneficial for you to focus on, take it. And remember that just because you choose one variation to start, if something changes for you throughout the practice, adjust accordingly. Your body will tell you what it needs. And time. Whew, all right, getting warm in here already. We've got our beast taps next. So coming down to the ground, quadruped, knees an inch off the ground. And we're gonna tap and tap. One thing that I find helpful in this, aside from the shoulder packing, because I'm driving that horse all the way into town tonight, is thinking about screwing my hand into the ground as it comes in contact. That's going to establish stability in the shoulder that's about to take your body weight. And you might start to feel really warm in your quads. That's the top of your thighs. That's totally normal. Brace your belly. And if anything starts to get too uncomfortable, it's okay to stop and take a rest. Maybe you need to drop the knees for a moment and then come back in. That's fine. Breaks are always okay. Checking our time here. 3, 2, and 1. Pike shrugs are next. So right from your beast position, you can just lift your hips up, set up your pike, and work on your shrugs. So it's closing the shoulder gap and then squeezing the lats to pull the shoulder blades down. So this is one that you can also do from that variation where we elevated the feet. If you feel like you want to do this with more body weight, maybe you're working on inversions and you're working on getting into a handstand push-up. I can dream. I'm always really impressed by folks that can manage those inversions because they freak me the heck out, yo. And sliding the shoulder blades, keeping the shoulder blades close to your rib cage. So we don't want them winging away from the body. We want to keep them close. And breathe. This is one that's a small movement, but it starts to feel really hard towards the end of your minute. And there's the end of your minute. We have to come back up to standing. And we've got our squats with that reach. So set up your squat stance. We're going to start in 3, 2, and begin. So we're going to grab, pull, reach, and bring it up. Bring it back down, pull, and reach. So as we work through this, there's a lot of twisting and a lot of reaching in today's practice. So you may notice that as your T-spine gets warm and starts to loosen up, that you're able to get deeper twists. And if it's not coming quite yet, that's okay. Maybe you're taking your time in these reaches. That's fine. Trust your intuition about what your body needs this evening. Those of you that have been practicing with me for a while know that even I will adjust things for myself throughout the practice. I've had many times where I've started the class and then maybe my knee is talking to me and I have to make a little adjustment. Time. All right. One more movement. We've got those shoulder presses, body weight shoulder presses. So coming back down to the ground, set up your pike, either straight legs or bent knees, and go ahead and begin. I did quite a few of these earlier today. So we'll see how many more my shoulders have for me. Really driving through your hands. Screw your hands into the ground, almost like you're twisting your palm to smash a bug. And when I say screwing them, they're screwing out in opposite direction of each other. And as you're pressing, think of them screwing really driving into the earth. That'll help you get your shoulders engaged. Inhale on the way down and exhale. Good, long, long spine. See how much length you can create with your spine within the natural curvature of it. We're not trying to get it perfectly straight. And time. Good. Take a moment and have some water if you need it. We're going to go right back to the top. Woo. I don't even want to complain about the heat because we're like nowhere near as hot as we were a couple weeks ago. So instead, I want to express gratitude for the cool breeze that is coming through my front door right now. And this cute dog. Puppy break.
Pork chop.
All right, we're gonna come back to the beginning. Reverse lunge with those T rotations. I'm gonna demonstrate this front view this time, starting in 3, 2, and 1. Stepping back, reach, reach, and reach. So whenever I'm doing a reaching movement, I'm always thinking about really actively, like I'm trying to touch the wall in front of me and the wall behind me. And then I'm trying to dynamically reach my fingertips up towards the sky. What that's going to do is it's going to bring the stabilizing muscles into play and help you to activate the muscles in your core and your hips to stabilize. So I've had to do a lot of work over the years to learn how to stabilize my long ass torso. Good. And exhale, reach and reach. And beast taps. Come back down to the ground. Brace your abdominals, tuck your toes, lift your knees an inch off the ground and tap. So remember those hands screwing into the ground. That's a theme that comes up over and over and over again. They're all the little things that help us to get stability. I'm bringing my knees down because, like I said, I did a lot of work in these movements earlier today. My body's going, you know what, friend? You need to chill out. Good. I'm seeing lots of nice stable movement from y'all. Keep it going. 15 seconds. Reestablish the bracing in your belly if you need to. Think about long in the back of your neck. Ears lined up with the shoulders. If you notice that that moment of the ears starting to kind of sag down, then just pull them back up and time. All right. So we're going to go right into the pike for your pike shrugs. You're already down on the ground, so we might as well do it, right? Lift your hips, drive through your hands, shrug your shoulders, and then press them down. So the shoulder blades are sliding up the back, and then the lats are controlling them as they slide down the back. Adjust your hands however you need to feel like you have the positioning that allows you to feel this movement. When we're first learning how to control our shoulder blades, it can feel really challenging to connect with them, but just stay patient and stay in your practice, and it's going to come to you. It's going to help improve the overall health of your shoulder a lot, especially if you have shoulders like mine that have suffered injury and are really prone to re-injury. This stabilization work is really impactful. Nice. All right, we're going to come up to standing and back into the squat and reach. Take a little sweat wipe there. All right. I got a wolf whistle from the from the observers here in my house. Squat and reach. So remember to pull on your shin or pull on your thigh or the outside of your knee, whatever you're grabbing. Remember that doing this in a chair or a bench is an option as well. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that for this part of this set, so you can see what that looks like if you're using something adaptive. Maybe you're reaching right here. And I just want to really make sure that I'm clear about stating that this is not a regression, all right? This is just a different way to do this exercise depending on what's available to your body. And there's a lot of different reasons why people need to do these variations that does not indicate a weakness or a deficiency at all. It's just where you are right now. All right, we've got the body weight shoulder press next. Whether you're doing, I'm gonna do this one on the couch this time. We're gonna start that in 3, 2, and begin. So you can set up your pike, and then I'm bringing the crown of my head to the couch. Maybe you're shifting your gaze to your fingertips or in between your hands. When you're in the arms extended portion of this movement, of this press, I just want to invite you to see if you can keep the tops of your shoulders out of your ears. So if you notice that you're shrugging all the way up to your ears, pause there for a minute, do the downward portion of that shrug we just did on the ground, and then press and try and end each press in the downward portion of that shrug. That part where the shoulders are packing down away from the ears, where the lats are engaged. So we're using our back muscles to really keep our shoulders stabilized. I really love it when folks are done with shoulder work, when they go, oh, I'm really sore in between my shoulder blades towards the bottom. All right. One more sip of water, wipe your face down, then we're gonna do this again. How's everyone feeling? I was dripping sweat all over my couch doing those presses on the couch. Having some water. The dog doesn't give a crap about me right now, so I can't give you a puppy break. I'm sorry. Maybe if a cat walks by, KR can give us a kitty break. We get a kitty break. See, those of you on YouTube, this is a good reason to get on the Patreon, because then you can see the kitties, because you can't see them right now. All right, let's get our last set. So 1 more minute in each of these. We got 5 more minutes of work. Y'all are doing great. You can do this. Let me get my timer back. We're starting with the lunge in 3, 2, arms up, and lunge it back. Reach, up, reach. So you can make your switch plyometric if you want, if you're feeling like, you know what, this isn't hard enough, or I want there to be more cardio. Maybe you're one of those people that I know whose heart rate recovers at a incredibly fast pace and you want to kick this up a notch. So this is an option as well. Remember, jumping variations only if you're feeling really good in your knees and you know your knees and you know that they can take it, and you're already really solid in your lunging pattern. It's a different type of muscle that works those dynamic movements. That's fast twitch muscle fiber. And those of you that are in sport, finish the rep that you're on, know that that fast twitched muscle fiber is really important. Bring it down to your beast for shoulder taps. So I'll demo this one on the couch this time for folks that are using that variation, and begin. So I've got my knees bent. This can also be in a plank, which would be a little more challenging. That's in here if you're doing the couch. So what we're working here is anti-rotation or counter rotation. And this kind of stabilization, your body uses all day, every day. Every time you take a step when you're walking, that's counter rotation. When you're running, your body stabilizes from the shoulder to the opposite hip as one limb leaves the ground. Brace your belly, navel to the back. Remember, we talked about that transverse abdominis deep inside that is cinching and stabilizing the spine. And then our six-pack muscles are squeezing and contracting and bring it up. We're going to come into the shrugs. So set up whichever pike. I'm going to go ahead and do my feet elevated this time. We talked about it, but I haven't demoed a whole set. So 3, 2, and whatever pike variation you're doing. And shrug and press. Shoulders to the ears. So our arms are staying fully extended for this one. We're not bending in the elbow. And keep breathing, keep bracing your belly. Remember, your pacing is your own. So if you need to go slower, go slower. If you feel like you want to work harder, you've got more energy in there that you want to exercise, then go ahead and go faster. I'm about to lose an earbud, so I'm going to step down so I can push it in. And exhale, squeeze, use your lats. Lots of control here. And time. All right. Take any wrist relief you need after all of that wristy, handsy. We're going to come up for our squat with a cross grab. So I demonstrated on the couch last time. I'm going to go off the couch this time and begin. So in the squat, I'm going to grab the knee and up. Well, maybe your deep squat is a little bit higher than my deep squat. So I'm going to demonstrate as though this were the bottom of my deep squat. Press knee into hand, hand into knee. If you're coming down to the shin, press your shin into your hand as you pull on it. So we're getting that opposite force to help pull us a little bit deeper. Gaze follows your top hand. So look up at it. Wherever your eyes go, that's where the center of your body is going to orient itself. So if our goal is to open up our chest and get some good rotation in the thoracic area, we want to shift our gaze up because that's going to pull this chest up and out. And time. All right, last set of our body weight shoulder presses. So set up your pike, give you a moment to get down on the ground, plank it, pike it, and let's start. So whichever variation you're doing, I'm going to bring my feet in narrow this time and really push into that straight spine with my knees bent. Really focusing on maintaining my natural curvature of my spine. Taking a little bit of a twist here because I'm feeling a little catch in my bicep. And I definitely want to pay attention to that and make sure that I'm being mindful of it so I don't end up with a strain or a pull in that muscle. We're always paying attention to our bodies when it's giving us information about something. I don't subscribe to pushing through the pain. We can lean into discomfort, but we're never pushing through pain. Pain is your body signaling you that something needs to change and bring it down. Woo! All right, you made it through 3 sets. I'm sweaty. I hope that you're sweaty. We now, as you know, we always decompress. So I'm never gonna, what's that saying to do with horses? There's got to be some horse people in here. The rode hard and put away wet. That's what it is. I never had horses, but I'm guessing that's a thing that you don't want to do. All right, so I'm going to tilt my angle here a little bit and then bring myself in a little bit closer. And guess what? We're going to twist some more. We're just going to do it down on the ground now. So we're closing the chain by coming into contact with the ground. This is always very, very soothing for the brain. We take a lot of support from the earth. So anytime we can put more of our body in contact with the earth, the more stabilizing and centering it's going to feel for our nervous system. I'm going to turn to this angle, and we're going to start with a variation of something that we've done on the ground quite a bit. We're going to do it from this high quadruped position instead of starting with our chest on the ground. So we're going to do that hand to the ear, and you're going to pull your elbow up, shift your gaze up towards the sky to twist and open. And then you're going to close it, take that hand and up towards the top of your body, reach. And then my gaze follows that hand. Bring it back and open, squeeze your belly and reach. One more on this side, can opener. And reach like you're trying to grab something you really want. Let's come to the other side. Hand to the side of the head and look up at the sky past your elbow, corkscrew that bottom hand into the ground, and then reach through. Inhale to transition and exhale, twist. And inhale, transition, exhale, reach. In and out. In and out. We're going to come back to the starting side, and now we're bringing it down. So we're going to start with the reach through this time. We're reaching through close to this wrist. So it's like your arm is going to graze the inside of that wrist. And when we get through, I want you to think about you're shooting it through and set that down on the ground. So that blade of the arm is on the ground. Your opposite hand's going to push into the earth, and then drive that in to the ground, drive that blade of the arm into the ground, and then pack your shoulder. So it's like you're trying to pull your arm, but it's glued down to the ground, and then look over your top shoulder. See how long you can get in your neck as you take the twist all the way into the cervical spine. Drive the arm down into the earth and pull it. Drive your hand, screw it down into the ground, and look over the top shoulder. Release that, pull your arm through, and then long arm, we're going to reach up to the sky. We're going to hold this for a couple breaths, just like we did the one on the bottom. And then drive that arm back through, set it down, look over your shoulder, see if you can look even farther over your shoulder this time. And pull it through and reach up to the sky. Let's do the other side coming down to the ground. So shoot your arm through, set it down on the ground, set your shoulder down, press it into the earth as you press your hand into the earth, and look over your shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here. Pull your arm through and reach up to the sky. Screw this hand down into the earth. Ooh, I got a little pop there. And shoot it through, set it down, look over your shoulder, see if maybe you go a little bit deeper this time. Pull it through and reach. And bring it down. Woo, y'all. Oh my gosh. I'm going to feel so good tonight. Twisting is one of my favorite things to do. So before I sign off the YouTube, I just want to let everyone know that next weekend is a holiday. So there's not going to be class on Monday in observance of Labor Day. So, and remembering the workers. So We'll see everyone a week from Saturday. Will be the class with Monk at 2 p.m. and that link will be shared on the Patreon. And then the following Monday, I will see everyone. So for those of you on YouTube, thank you for joining us. We're going to sign off and have our little patron Kiki. And I'll see all of you in 2 weeks.